Hello everyone and welcome to YouTube Tuesday, session 139 with me, Jessica Brigden of Jess B Creative Cardiology. Hello and happy Tuesday to you. It is February 28th, the last day of the month, the last day of Stampin' Up's Sale A Bration promotion, which means it's the last day to get free products for every $50 that you purchase. So we are going to end Sale A Bration with a bang, and I am going to share with you a fabulous fun fold card using, we got a lot of F's, for fabulous fun fold using the Fragrant Flowers bundle and the Favored Flowers Designer Series paper. Hi Alicia, hello. Hi Kathy, hi everyone. All right, glad to have some of you here. So so for Session 139, we are ending Sale A Bration with a fabulous fun fold card using the Fragrant Flowers bundle and the coordinating Favored Flowers Sale A Bration Designer Series paper. So this is one of the items that you could get for free with a $50 purchase here. Again, those orders need to be in by tonight. That is February 28th by 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time. So in the in the East Coast for us, so 11:59 Mountain Time is actually 1:59, right? 11, 12, 1:59 p.m. So you have a little bit more time if you're in the East Coast. However, like Alicia, if you are, I think you're on Pacific time, being out in Alaska, then that's going to wind up a little bit earlier for you. All right, so the official, because Stampin' Up is in Utah, and it is 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time there. So make sure you calculate your cutoff. Don't miss out, all right? Today's the very last day. All right, so I also have a fun little giveaway I'm going to do. Again, ending Sale A Bration with a bang. I have an extra Scenic Garden stamp set. Now, this is a Sale A Bration exclusive, and pretty much the only way, I don't want to say pretty much, you can see it here at the end of the Sale A Bration brochure. It's a host exclusive, and the only way to have gotten this was with a $300 party. So if you have been able to place a $300 order, if you have a $300 order going in, that's fabulous. If not, then I'm going to do a drawing for all the orders that go in today. All right, so if you place an order with me as your demonstrator today, then you will go in the drawing for the Scenic Garden stamp set. I will draw one of your names and send this awesome stamp set to you for free. It's beautiful. It's got this little park bench, a little garden gate, some hollyhocks, a little topiary design. All right, Alicia, yes, it's not just math, but time zone math is hard. So yes, if you're on Pacific, then 2 hours earlier for you. So get your order in by 9:59 tonight. All right, and don't wait till the last minute, because the computer system, the online store, gets a bit bogged down, and you'll notice it goes slower and slower because of the greater volume of people and orders, everybody trying to do the same thing. So don't wait till the last minute tonight, in case you run into any issues just with the slowness of the computer. Okay. All right, I'm going to flip the camera here so we can go ahead and get started. And I will share that February host code. Boy, my fudgy fingers here today. Couldn't get that little flip the camera button pressed. All right, so if you are placing an order for less than $150, make sure you use this host code DYZ3BNFE. All right, that associates your order with me and allows me to put your name in the drawing for my stamp set. All right, the Scenic Garden here, and lots of fabulous stuff. So like I said, we are going to be playing with the Favored Flowers bundle here today. I'm going to find that here for you in the annual or mini catalog. It's on page 21, and you can see the coordinating Sale A Bration paper here on page 11. All right, it's even got a little memo up at the top. Coordinates with the Fragrant Flowers bundle. The bundle itself is $48.50. You get the stamp set, and there's a great set of dies in here too. Cuts out both sizes of flowers. Got some extra little labels, leaves, petals and even a fun little texture impression there. All right, so some fun stuff. So you would only need to add $1.50. So find a pack of ribbon or something off the clearance rack. Stamp sets were recently added to the clearance rack this week. That was a first for Stampin' Up. I have never seen them add stamp sets to the clearance rack before. So I think there's a few left on there in English, plenty if you speak French, but but definitely some goodies on there. And so that would get you just about to the $50 level here to get your Fragrant Favored Flowers paper for free. Okay, so we are going to be doing a variation in the Calypso Coral, and then our other variation here will be in the Blackberry Bliss, because we've got these gorgeous colors in this designer series paper here. So let me pull out some of these patterns for you. So we've got gorgeous like cabbage roses, or you can call them, like, could be tulips or peonies, whatever your favorite flower. They're kind of generic enough that it could be just about anything here, but beautiful, beautiful designs, large and small flowers. We've got some pretty different greens, evening evergreen, old olive, fun patterns on the back side. We have blends of colors in here. The complementary colors there are the petal pink and fresh freesia, which is why I've got my little fresh freesia sweater going on. All right, so beautiful, beautiful. And the dies from the Fragrant Flowers stamp set die cut these images from this pattern of designer series paper. So you can, lots of gorgeous die cuts there. All right, beautiful, beautiful. So let me get that out of the way. All right, so the only thing you really need for this fun fold we're using today is your paper trimmer. Hi, Deb. Yeah, so glad you caught me live. All right, so the card we're going to use today does require a larger size designer series paper. So you will need a 12 by 12 sheet to start out with. All right, so this will, unfortunately, unless you're gonna make a tiny little card, this will not work with the 6 by 6 paper. You will need a 12 by 12 paper. And another tip for this is you need a paper with an all over design, okay? Something that is kind of the same in all different directions. You do not want necessarily a pattern with stripes, because the way that we're going to fold this, it's going to come out a little bit wonky. You also don't want something with a pattern that's only going like in one direction. So say your flowers would be growing vertical, that's not really going to work. Again, you want an all over pattern. So I have picked out this gorgeous Blackberry Bliss and Fresh Freesia pattern, which has a nice all over Blackberry Bliss pattern on the back. And then for the second card, we're going to be using, hi Janelle, this pretty Mums pattern in the Calypso Coral and Petal Pink. Again, these flowers are all over, and the back side has this fun shape on the back too, that's again kind of all over in different directions. Okay, so to start out with, we are going to be cutting our 12 by 12 down. All right, so we need it to be 7 1/4. All right, just making sure. Nope, 7 inches. Excuse me. All right, so we're gonna cut it down. It doesn't matter which side, but we're gonna start up here on our trimmer. So I have extended the arm. All right, so we're gonna start right up there at the 7-inch mark, and we're going to trim off this excess. So you can save this for another project. Then we're going to rotate it, and we are going to put this in, and we're going to trim this down to 8 1/4. So some of you here on my Creative Cardiology team who are watching, this might look a little familiar to you because we did a variation of this for our December team make and take project. All right, so we've cut it 7 inches, and now I've come up here putting it in at 8 1/4. All right, and again trimming off the excess and set that aside. Hello Diana. Hi Karen. Oh, good, good. Okay, checking in with everybody. So Karen, this is one of the papers you did not get. Oh, well, maybe by the end of this video, you will be convinced. All right, so now we've done our cutting. We cut our 12 by 12 sheet down to 7 by 8 1/4. All right, we're gonna get the cutting blade out of the way, and we are going to slide our paper down to 2 3/4 inches. Okay, and we're gonna gently score it there at 2 3/4. And then we are going to rotate it again, okay, at 2 3/4. Okay, and your designer series paper is fairly thin, so you don't want to push too hard on that. I realize it's a little bit hard to see on this dark colored paper, but what I've done is I've scored the 2 3/4 here along the top section. All right, let me just fold that down so you can see. And then that same left side, I folded again, or scored again at the 2 3/4. Okay, so what we end up with is in one corner, this top left corner, we have a 2 3/4 inch square. Okay, so the way I cut this, or the way I scored it here, we're actually going to have our Blackberry Bliss side on the outside. So yeah, so it doesn't matter. Like I said, make sure you have it all over pattern. Okay, so we scored it 2 3/4 in both sections. Okay, so in order to help us see a little bit better, I do have some coordinating cardstock here. I did have, does anybody see what I did with that? I had a piece of, oh, it's underneath my die cuts. Okay. All right, so the Blackberry Bliss is going to be on the outside, and then we have our flowers on the inside. So I've cut a panel of designer series paper, or of cardstock, coordinating cardstock, to give a little contrast at 4 by 5 1/4. But I can't decide if I really want to go with the Blackberry Bliss. It's going to be layered with basic white, cut to 3 3/4 by 5. So I can't decide if I want, this is what it'll look like on the inside here. We're going to decorate the inside just so we can have a little bit better visual. This is with the Blackberry Bliss. And then this would be with the Fresh Freesia. All right, so this is for the inside. And again, the only real thing we're doing on the inside, these are going to be our sentiment panels. So what do you guys think? Do you like the Blackberry Bliss, the dark contrast, or should I go with the Fresh Freesia? What do you guys think? All right, you guys give me your vote for that. In the meantime, before we finish folding this all up, I'm going to die cut. Again, I mentioned that the Fragrant Flowers die cuts coordinated with this beautiful pattern of the designer series paper. And so I've trimmed it out, and we're going to use both the small die cut and the large here, and pop these out with our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I believe I've sized this just right so that it will fit through our mini. I'm going to be using mini blue here, boho blue. Again, the only way to get this currently is by joining my Creative Cardiology Team. As demonstrators, we did have the opportunity to purchase one ahead of time. That is a great thing about, one of the great things about being a demonstrator is that we always get a pre-order opportunity on here. Okay, so I've got several votes for Blackberry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, Janelle admitted she got outnumbered with the Fresh Freesia. So it looks like we're going with Blackberry for the inside. Okay, it'll look beautiful. So we're going to take so I've got plate 1 here, then clear plate 2. Line those up in there, and then put on my designer series paper. All right, I might do these one at a time just so that they don't move around. Line up our dies here. I think it'll work pretty good. Okay, so that is nice. These, the Fragrant Flowers dies do fit in the mini machine. And then we have our top plate, which is clear plate number 2. Okay, squeeze those together because we want to make sure that they don't move about too much on us. Okay, like I said, I might have to, that top one is moving. I had the bottom one pinched and then the top one moved. You could always use a little piece of washi tape to hold these in place as well, but get that right in there. All right, I'm gonna do that top one separate. So let me do the bottom one here because I do not have any washi tape handy. It's in a drawer. You know how that goes. When you need something, it's always in a safe place. All right, sorry for that little wiggle, but look how nicely that pops out. Beautiful die cut there. Okay, so we're gonna run the small one through. This time we won't have to worry about it sliding around. Okay, you can just pinch it, get it caught, run it through. Okay, and then pop that out there, and we are good to go. All right, so we'll tuck a little blue off to the side for right now. And then we've got no waste on there, so I don't feel bad throwing about that little bit of scrap. Okay, so blackberry got the most votes here. So let me grab that out. Put the fresh freesia off to the side. All right, so now we're gonna bring our paper in again. We're gonna use just a little bit of Stampin' Seal. Help, this one is running out there. Okay, so this panel is gonna go in this bottom right section. And what's nice is when this all folds up, it will be a standard size card, your 4 by 5 1/4. So with your, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That Blackberry Bliss cardstock was 4 by 5 1/4, and the basic white layer here is 3 3/4 by 5. And then because our square of the folds up in the top is 2 3/4, I've cut this little square of Blackberry Bliss. This is 2 1/2. Okay, and then the basic white layer is 2 1/4. Okay, so that gives you a better visual for the inside. You can see how the panels are divided. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring down this top section, but we are going to do this handy little thing here where we're actually pinching. So find that corner crease. Okay, that's really important that your creases line up there. All right, find that corner crease. Do you see how I'm pinching it? I don't know if you guys can see that right in here. Okay, so kind of pinch it right in there on that crease, and you're going to bring this vertical score line here right in line with your top panel. Okay, and when you've got that, go ahead and press this down, give it a nice score. All right, that's the top. That folds this section into a little triangle, and if you did it right and everything was measured properly, this should be nice and square. All right, nothing sticking out. We're going to do the same thing with this side over here. So as I go to bring the left side in, again, I'm going to pinch right up here in the corner and bring, again, my short score line right down along the side. Okay, again, pinch it good. Bring in your bone folder, give that everything a nice smooth look. And look at that when it all folds together. Is that not the coolest thing ever? So when it's all finished here, it ends up being 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. All right, and like I said, you want patterns that make sure that it's not going to really clash, because when you fold that down, you do end up, this little square kind of goes in a different direction than the other panel, so you don't want it to be too glaring that the pattern goes in the other direction. Okay. All right, so what we're gonna decorate this a little bit now. I did die cut a circle from my Stylish Shapes dies. I used the second largest. All right, and so this is going to go in the middle, but I'm not going to glue it just yet, because what we're going to do, we're going to take our die cut pieces here. These serve a purpose. So we're going to take the little one. The little one is going to act as a little tuck here, a little corner to help hold that fold in place. And this top one, we're going to use to decorate. So I want to make sure that I've positioned my flower where I want it to go, and that maybe I have room still for a little bit of a sentiment down here, and that everything is still going to fit within the boundaries of my folded card. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to just kind of hold these things in place, and we'll put some dimensionals on top of our beautiful die cut here. All right, and then we can put a few more on later. But what I want to do is, you want to make sure that your dimensionals are going to stay within this top left corner piece. Okay, they need to stay on this top fold. So when we go ahead and put this on, again, make sure, get right up to the edges there. But I need to make sure, and I'm a little bit off on that one. Okay, so I'm going to peel this and move it in just a little bit, because I want to be able to unfold my card. Okay, so that's the tricky thing. Keep track of a little bit, is that whatever you put up here on this top corner, you still need to be able to open it. All right, now I did not put a dimensional under here yet. I will put one, but I'm not going to peel that off. I'm going to leave it so that I can tuck my sentiment piece under there first, and then on my little flower, we're going to put, yeah, I think I can get away with one on that. I think that'll be fine. All right, so let's do a sentiment first. We only have room for a little something down there. Okay, I could even do the leaves. That would be cute. So I've got room right in here for a sentiment. Let's see here if we bring in, so I think I'm going to go ahead and use just a little, one of these little skinny words. I can do a friend or a love here, and that will fit in, because I think even the hello is going to be a bit hidden. All right, so we're going to go, so you need for this particular card, because we're using such a large die cut piece, you definitely want something, some skinny little sentiments. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use my Blackberry Bliss ink on this. I'm going to pull this out so I have a nice smooth surface, and I'm aiming for this one, kind of the lower portion, so bottom half of my circle. Okay, I think we're good there. Again, when you go ahead, when you put your adhesive on, we only need adhesive here on this corner. All right, just that, maybe do a little V of adhesive there. Then we'll tuck this in. Okay, and then I'm going to remove that dimensional backing, and that's going to help sandwich it in there, hold it in place even more. All right, looks good. I'm going to remove the backing off of my little flower. And then, so you see how it kind of pops open on its own? This little flower serves as kind of a little holder there. All right, but you want to make sure, and that way you can just untuck it and voila. So when you put your dimensional on the little flower, again, it needs to be down. You don't want to put it so that it overlaps. The stickiness, you want to have it so that just the top portion of your die cut is overlapping there, okay? And then it kind of holds it all together and is fun. Oh, good, Carrot. I am glad that I am bringing you over to the side of the Blackberry Bliss. It really is such a beautiful color, and it pairs so nicely with the fresh freesia. Really nice compliment there. Yes, have a good afternoon, and enjoy your lunch break there. Aw. All right, so I know it seems a little complicated at first, but really, when you get it all together, what you essentially have is your designer series paper that is 7 by 8 1/4. You score along the top at 2 3/4, and then you score along the side at 2 3/4, and then you pinch those top little score lines, and you have essentially this little triangle folds in, and then that little triangle folds in, and this top corner comes down, leaving you space to decorate. Have a little sentiment in here, and then put your little flower to hold that all in place. So you've got lots of space inside where you could write a message. Maybe you could put like a poem or a scripture, and then have your little message down in here. Really cute card. It's one of my favorite folds. I originally saw this. My friend, and she's fellow demonstrator. She's a French demonstrator in Europe. Rachel Aziamati. I'm sure I'm not quite pronouncing her name correctly. Her YouTube channel is Scrapinium. And I think I can find a link to her video and share it here as well. But her video will be in French though. But I loved her card. And of course that was, her video was, the sizing was a little different because the European sizes are a little different than the US finished card sizes. So I cut it down and arranged the scoring so that it would fit in a regular envelope. So it would fold up and be regular size. But isn't that gorgeous? So let's do it again. If you thought that was a little, it's not, I know it looks more complicated than it is, okay? So again, you're gonna start with a piece of designer series paper that has an all over pattern, which means the pattern goes in all the different directions, and it won't matter which way you fold it, because the flowers can go in all different directions. And again, even on the back, these fun geometric shapes. It's very busy, and unlike stripe, I would not use stripes, and I would not use a single pattern of flowers that grows in one direction. You want a pattern that is all over. Okay, so polka dots, anything like that is good, like all over little flowers. Great for this. So again, you start out with a 12 by 12 sheet, because if you did this with a 6 by 6, you'd end up with a teeny tiny little mini card. All right, which could be kind of cute, but we're gonna go for regular size today. Okay, so let me see here. So the trick here when we did this, all right, so this time my flowers ended up on the inside. So if we want the flowers to be on the outside, all right, no matter what, you have to have your score line along the top and along the left for it to go like that. So if you want the flowers, okay, then we need to have flowers going up. We're going to cut this first to 7 inches. Okay, save the extra for another project. 7 by 8 1/4. Okay, the measurements on this are important because when you fold it all up, you want everything to be nice and square. Okay, so I want my flowers to be on the outside this time. So I'm going to make sure when I score it here, I'm going to do my scoring with this opposite side up. So my first score line along the top is at 2 3/4. Make sure you get your cutting blade out of the way. All right, gently score at 2 3/4 on the short side here. And then, all right, that gives you a little better visual. Then we're gonna come over here on the left and score it at 2 3/4 as well. Okay, so the top folds down and the left side folds in. All right, and then my flowers are going to be on the outside this time. Okay, so again, they help us get a little better visual of our 4 quadrants there. I have cut contrasting layers of Calypso Coral. So I got Calypso Coral basic white here. All right, so our bottom quadrant, our Calypso Coral cardstock here is 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to place this so that we have a 1/4 inch border going all the way around, just between the score lines and the outside edges. All right, so 4 by 5 1/4, and then the basic white layer is 3 3/4 by 5. So you can go ahead and place these in here. And then because our top portion, our score lines were at 2 3/4 and 2 3/4, so we have a 2 3/4 inch square there. So our cardstock is going to be 2 1/2. And our basic white is going to be 2 1/4. Okay, so this is the inside of the card. These are the sentiment panels. So on the outside here, again, we're just going to start by folding this top section down. So I did pre-crease that. All right. Start by folding this down. Then come up and pinch right where those score lines intersect, right in that corner. Okay. And you're going to start pulling towards the right so that this score line becomes even with the top fold line right up there at the top. Make sure your point is nice and square. Okay, everything looks good and lined up. And then you're going to bring your bone folder in, and that way you're going to make sure that's going to just nicely fold that piece so that you don't end up with that sticking out. Okay, nice and flush. And then we're going to gently let it open. We're going to come over here to the left side, start to push that left side in, and then again bring the little score line from our top corner. Make sure that looks nice and good. Bring this over along the outside edge. Okay, give it a nice pinch. Hold it in place, and then again we're going to bring this nice score line down, and look how nicely that lines up. Okay, so that might take just a little practice to get that pinching properly. But again, if you've scored it nicely, you're folding, you're pinching right there where those score lines intersect. And then look how fun this is with the flowers, with the all over pattern. It's nice. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. This time I'm using, of course, the die cuts here in the Calypso Coral and the Petal Pink variation. I have another stitched circle from the Stylish Shapes dies. Terry's. Well, okay, so when I originally tried this, I used just a generic pack of paper. In fact, if any of you have gotten the other Sale A Bration item, is the Dandy Designs 12 by 12 stack. This is the 48 sheet, and it has so much cardstock in there. So just pick a pattern that you don't really care for to do a little practice on. Okay, because I did do a practice or two to make sure that I was pinching that score line and getting the fold just right. Okay, so go ahead and just use an ugly piece of paper to start with. All right, you could even try it on cardstock to start with. I do like having the two contrasting sides of the designer series paper. I feel like that helps. Not only is it more visually interesting, but it gives you you can see which side you did your scoring on and how it makes a difference if you do your scoring with your paper and the opposite. So on this one, because of the way I scored it, I had to put the flowers on the inside. Whereas this one, I wanted to make sure my flowers would be on the outside. So you do have to pay a little bit of attention to where you put your score lines, okay? All right, so we'll set those over on the side. We're gonna die cut these little pieces here, okay? So again, you've got plate number 1, and then clear plate number 2. Put your paper on there, and then your die cut. Make sure you put cut side down, okay? And then get all nice and lined up in there. And then use your second clear plate number 2. All right, I am gonna do just one at a time. Okay, in and then back out, nice and smooth. That came out great. Okay, and then put number 2, the large one, in here. Now with this, and I'm gonna make sure. So sometimes on this one you get little pieces of paper stuck right in those little spots. Take your pick tool or your paper poker and make sure you get those little paper pieces out of there so that you've got, you'll get a nice clean cut here. And with this die, the way to line it up is your detailed flowers there, and then even your little flower bud on the side. All right, and then just your clear plate on top. Get it going here. Okay, and then run that all the way through. All right. Okay, so get these little plates. Your mini machine will come with all of the plates. Everything comes in it that is needed to work it. Okay, and yeah, so now we've got our die cuts here. We've got our card base, designer series paper. All right, again, fold this up, and when we go to put our die cut on, again, we're making sure that our dimensionals are going to fit here in this top square so that the card still opens. All right, so it's easiest to put on kind of a little, or you could even put your dimensionals here on directly on the little card base if you wanted to. That would probably work, but just make sure. And again, with this flower going in, really could go in any direction. Just want to make sure that you've got it lined up on how you want it. So I'm going to put another one on the leaf here. Okay, get a visual, and then I can do another one on this leaf, but again, making sure I'm not getting too far out on the edge. I'm going to put it inside a little bit. Okay. All right, so line these up, make sure my die cut stays on my card here. All right, that looks good. I don't have any pieces hanging out or overlapping. All right, so that way, and I did not put any dimensional again right on the bottom because I need to be able to tuck my sentiment panel up in there. All right, so let's see. You know, if I do, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna use the larger stamp. I'm gonna do the hello, and I'm gonna place it right down on the bottom of my die cut circle here. Okay, right down towards the bottom. And then I'm gonna come in and, well, my friend is still inked up with Blackberry Bliss, and I, for some reason, did not bring my little cleaner back here. So we're gonna use the little love, and we're gonna ink that up, and we can go, hello, love. Okay. And then, again, lift this up, put your adhesive just right in a little, right on that little V. Okay. I can tuck this in here, tuck it right up nice. Okay. And then you can come in with that extra dimensional piece, peel the backing off, and secure it. Okay, so the card still opens, that's good. Good to check that from time to time just to make sure. All right, now we're gonna come in with our little die cut. We'll put a dimensional right in the center of it. Okay, and now when I position this on here, again, just want to make sure, however you place it, that it still fits on your card. Okay, that helps keep it nice and tucked together. All you have to do is give it a little lift, and then voila, you've got all this fun space inside this neat contrasting pattern. You just pull it closed, all right, and then tuck that right underneath your die cut again. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? I love that. All right, so then we had our Blackberry Bliss, and then we had our Calypso Coral variation there. I'm going to show you two other, these are my original cards based on Rachel's design. Okay, so these were another two. These cards were made using that Dandy Designs Sale A Bration paper stack. Because it's a 48 sheet stack here, this is a free with $100 purchase. It's a level 2 item. Okay, but that is what I used on these. Again, fresh freesia, and then some pale papaya on there. And this die cuts here were from the Shaded Summer die cuts. You may recognize these were a Sale A Bration item a couple of years ago, and then Stampin' Up! Reintroduced them into the annual catalog this year. They coordinate with the Shaded Summer stamp set. And so those are the die cuts that I used on these cards. And for the sentiments here, that was the Something Fancy. This is new in the mini catalog as part of the Fancy Flora collection. But that is what I used for those sentiments. And same thing, again, just contrasting. All right, so those of you that said this is so easy, you can see I didn't quite get my score lines done correctly. I accidentally scored at 2.5 instead of the 2 3/4, and so this is why I kept this one as my template because the score lines did get a little wonky on there. All right, so like I said, use the ugly piece of paper that you're not so that you don't care about so much as your template. All right, and then the second one, again, just that little tuck it behind your little die cut element, and then you have your space on the inside. All right, so it shows just you can use any designer series paper as long as it has an all over pattern. So again, this was all over flowers. This one, again, didn't matter if, you know, which direction it was folded in, all over. Just like with this one, bold flowers, but again, it works because the print is all over. And even this one, because it's so busy, even though the top and the bottom go vertically and the corner goes horizontal, by the time you put the die cut up there, you really don't notice, and at least the inside is all over directional. Okay, so that's the biggest tip, is just make sure that you use a piece of paper that has an all over pattern. But super fun fold. I don't know if there's a specific name for this fun fold, but I think it's really cute. It's one of my favorites, and I love that the only thing you have to do to it is score it on the top. Okay, so just cut your paper to size, score it once on the top, score it once on the left, and then you pinch it down. So that's my type of fun fold. That doesn't require that you do an entire origami sequence in order to to get it all the way it's supposed to. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, I will link to Rachel's original video if you want to watch that in French. But I have, again, customized this for US card sizes so that it's finished at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. and will fit in a standard envelope for mailing. But I hope you've loved this. Again, today, last day of Sale A Bration, and you can get the Favorite Flowers Designer Series paper, or even the Dandy Designs Designer Series paper. A couple of fun Sale A Bration items. We're also halfway through the mini catalog, so if you haven't gotten your favorite bundles, like the Fragrant Flowers bundle, and now is a good time to do that. And anybody, again, like I said, anybody who orders today, your name will go in the drawing for the free stamp set that I tucked somewhere here under my papers. Here it is. All right, the Scenic Garden. All right, so I'll do a drawing for that once the orders have closed for tonight. All right, so thank you guys so much. Happy stamping. I hope you'll give this a try. All right, if you do, head on over to my Just Be Creative Cardiology Facebook group. The link is there on my Facebook page. And I'd love for you to share your designs with me. Show me what you made. Alrighty. Okay, thank you guys so much. Link to the Favorite Flowers bundle is there in the video description, as well as the shopping link with my host code. Yes, I hope you'll give these a try. And beautiful in any color combination. Lots and lots of fun. All right, don't forget to give me that thumbs up, like, subscribe to my channel here. Really appreciate that. And be sure to share it with your friends too. All right, happy stamping, everyone. Bye-bye.